The Ides of March, and in studio here, Karen Corrigan. We can add that drama to it. What are your thoughts, Karen? Have you been contacted? Have you talked to MVHS at this point?
We haven't talked to them, but we did receive an offer this past week.
So you do have an offer in place?
We just received it, yes.
Okay.
It came in this past week. And as far as the deadline goes, we gave it all to our lawyer. But first of all, before we start, I want to give everybody here some American flags because
thank you.
I went to the budget hearing last night.
Thank you.
And I spoke to the mayor. I spoke to him. I made a comment. But I listened to the mayor.
Yes.
And for 2 years, people have been, I don't know if it's been an outright threat, but they certainly have been insinuating whenever you went, when I went to Brindisi's office, when I went to El Candido's office, trying to get a hold of Mr. Pacenti, going to the meeting with Steve DeMille from Edge, Robert Schofield, Scott Parrott, always seems like there was this tone of we're going to use eminent domain, which has been what we've been begging to talk about for 2 years, and no one has talked to us.
Yeah.
I went to the budget hearing last night, and the mayor had said that he has no intention of getting involved in a private property negotiation, which is wonderful.
I think we can all kind of agree that no one wants to be a part of this eminent domain. It seems. No agency nobody wants to take responsibility. It's an ugly thing to get involved in, but it does exist.
But it is the way it should be.
The threat is there, though. Mm-hmm. If you decide to say, I'm not moving, they could be forced to go to eminent domain. Interestingly, Brett Truitt seems to be playing a different game where he's buying up properties and is claiming that he will force them to go through the process of eminent domain. It's all very interesting. I want to start, though, by just putting a face to your business, because I'm not sure most people understand. We talked over the weekend. You were very involved in the MV Lunch Club's auction, which was a great event, and how we pulled money out of everybody. It was a great event that goes to a great cause. Anyway. I'm not sure people understand your business and how big your business really is. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. We moved downtown to Lafayette Street back in 1980. We were a little guy down on Columbia Street, and my brothers and I, along with my father, decided we're going to build a business, and our business was based off of, and still is, the little guys all around the country that have little stores. In camping and resort areas, they weren't doing much with them, and some of them were trying very hard to make it happen, but there were so many different suppliers out there that we decided that we're going to go into business, and the whole idea is we're going to help you find the right products so that you can sell them, so that you can do good, because if you do good, I'm going to do good. Right. So it's kind of like one of those effects. And we have now grown. We have a warehouse down on Broad Street. We also have built a warehouse in Schuyler. We have our showroom down on Lafayette Street, and we are still expanding. We're all through the United States. We're in California. We're in Colorado. We're in Oregon. We're all over the place. We do shows all over the area, and we ship all over.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I still don't get. What are the products that you sell?
Camping products, RV products, the little gift items that you'd see when you go into a gift store.
Okay.
And, aspirins, combs,
You don't necessarily manufacture. What you've become the
distributor.
The distributor.
Yes.
So everything's all under one umbrella for all of these people to purchase.
We buy a lot of products.
Did it start as a lot of catalog business? Is that where it began?
We never were catalog.
Okay.
We were started in the Northeast here, going up towards Old Forge area, Lake George.
Perfect area to be in this business.
Yep, and our salesmen would go out and bring the product samples, sell to them.
So you sell to the stores? Is that
we sell to the stores? We sell to the retail stores. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So if I own Herkimer Diamonds, for instance, they have their location there, and you'd supply them with all sorts of camping supplies that you'd get in the gift shop or something like that. Okay. Yeah. I don't think people understand how large, though, you guys are. Big, all over the country.
We are definitely nationwide, and we have a lot of people from China that come in the beginning of the year that go in to help us figure out. We do, I can't say we're not a United States manufacturer. We do work with some people that come over here and they do designs and they make some products for us.
Got it.
We
Okay.
also buy from a lot of people in Canada and United States. We have a lot of United States
Okay.
products. So.
But I'm assuming China it's important to your business.
China is very important to our business because they're the ones that, when you see the name Wilcor on it, most of them are
Got it.
made over there.
Okay. And, people are looking for a buy. They're looking
Yes,
for a great
it
price.
makes it affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, because our business is based upon family-orientated recreation, and generally, when you have a family, a lot of times you have a little bit less
Sure.
money, and
Got it.
it's
All
gotta
right.
be affordable.
So, with all of the products that you have, right in the footprint and the building that's there in Utica, how difficult is this process going to be if it comes to they're going to buy out your property and you're going to have to move? How difficult is that going to be for you guys?
Terrible difficult. We spent 30 years building that showroom. We have 6,000 products in it, and we have to be up and running by December 1st of every year because that show is every single year, and it's not like we have the time to do it. So it's been mind-boggling, and I know people have said, well, why didn't you look for a building? Why didn't you move out? Well, first of all, we didn't receive an offer. We haven't even had anybody approach us until January.
Yeah.
When we received the offers, like I said last week.
I know you've turned the offer over to your attorney, and you might not want to comment on this, but tell us your thoughts when you read the offer.
I'm not sure that I can comment. You're
Okay.
right. It's in the hands of my attorney. Most of my feelings are not based upon the offer that they're making. I still believe very strongly that if I got $300 million to put into my business, I'd put it into my business. I wouldn't go out and put it into demolishing buildings. I think healthcare, $300 million, they should put it into healthcare. Every penny of that, Mohawk Valley healthcare system should be putting into that. They own the property. They should do it. It should happen for this area. They should not be spending it on buying my building, buying this building, demolishing this building. Because, you know what, I remember that area when DeSantis was down on Lafayette, or down on Columbia Street, and Seacon was down there, and Heidelberg Bakery was down there. All those buildings are not beyond the stretch of the imagination to become businesses down that area. And the idea that I was saying the mayor made that comment, but he also, I was thinking last night, he did a great job. 4 years ago, I remember standing in my showroom and said to my brother, oh, my God, this is great. Finally, the area is starting to change. Franklin Square is building up. We have Bag Square. Varick Street down here is a great entertainment. The Irish Cultural Center, by the way, which is opening up in July.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
It was so exciting. It's like, oh, this is great. Things are going to come back. We can make a difference. We can change. Maybe we can do something in this area.
Yeah.
And then a year later...
How do you, though, I do have to say that there is a lot of progress that's happening that is based on the hospital. There are properties that are being bought up based on the fact that they feel the property values are going to go up. There are other places that have invested along Genesee Street, in Bag Square, in certain areas, because they feel the hospital is coming. That is true. The question is, what would have happened if there was no hospital? Would any of this stuff have been happening? You believe that it would?
I believe it would have, because like I said, 4 years ago, before the hospital was out, we sat there looking at it saying, this is fantastic. Finally, we're going to help make a change.
I want to ask you
just one more clarification. When you say take the $300 million, don't buy buildings and demo, you're talking about stay on Faxon St. Luke's campus, or at the St. Luke's campus.
Well, yeah, or at least some area where they're not buying up buildings and demolishing. I mean, $300 million is a lot of money, and I think that healthcare is extremely important to this area, and they should use it, but let's use it for what it's meant for. I think even in one of those, I know the email thing, it goes between private, but in one of those emails, I think the governor even said that he wouldn't want it used for revitalizing downtown, unless it was an extremely big research place. He would like it to be used for, healthcare, and that's what it should be used for. Okay. Let's please put it where it belongs.
Well, I think the legislation, though, is I think that it has to be used to build a hospital now. However the legislation was written, it has to be, whether we like that or not.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you.
It's a fact
build
now.
a new hospital, but build it someplace where you're spending the least amount of money on something besides healthcare.
I want to switch gears a little bit, which might be difficult, and that is. It does seem that everybody's pretty set on this thing going downtown. Now, let's say it does move forward and the obstacles that are being proposed aren't successful. They end up giving you an offer, you negotiate. What are your plans? Will you look for a place in Utica? Is there anyone that has talked to you about looking for a place in Utica? Do you look outside Utica, outside Oneida County?
As far as approaching us to look for a building, I think the mayor walked up to me a couple of years ago, said, "Hey, we got this place on Broad Street." Well, we own a place on Broad Street. That's not going to be indicative of what we need. We have approached Herkimer County and asked them if they could look for a place. And we're doing some looking around. We're looking for a big building. I mean, we're talking 3,000 square feet. I don't know what we're going to do. It's very hard to be thrown out of a place. It's extremely hard. And we have a next generation now. My grandmother was here. My father was here. We are here. We were kind of ingrained into this area. The next generation, they're a little bit younger and a little bit more mobile, and I know that we've expanded the area, so I'm not sure where we're going to look. To be honest with you, we entered into a lease to possibly have a showroom out west, a very small one. Whether or not that's
you're saying out west,
you're
saying not Buffalo.
No, out west towards
out
Colorado.
West, Colorado, all right.
But, I mean, that may have happened anyways, but things open up and you have to think about where you're going to be. I mean, I don't want to if I get thrown out of Utica this time, what's going to happen next time?
Right.
I have to have faith in the people that are here. And for all these
wouldn't you hope that and maybe this is pie in the sky, that somebody would come forward from here and say, I've got this great idea. I think we can take this negative and turn it into a positive where you'll be bigger and better than you ever were before. Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would. It's a hope. Yeah, it'd be nice if somebody came forward and said, at least talk to us. Yeah. At least negotiated with us. At least had a conversation with us about options and explain to us. I'm sorry, when somebody takes something from you, you want them to explain why it has to be like this. And this is. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, why didn't they talk to you about it, and why didn't you talk to them? Well, we've been trying for 2 years. We've been trying. We'd love to talk to it, but unfortunately, you can't go backwards in time. But our minds are still back there. We need that clarification before we can even.
And I've been honest with you that I would like to see the hospital go downtown.
I know that.
However, I also feel it's important to put a personality and a face and a human story together with this, that you guys are in an awful position. And I think we all have to be sympathetic to that. I think it's important, no matter what side you are in this, that we have to consider you're being placed in a very horrible, potentially horrible situation here.
I appreciate that. I also recognize, probably more so than I would have a few years ago, that, Clementi's, Brandelli's, Metzler's, Urbanics, the Schmaltz, Compassion Coalition, Turning Point Church, Citation Graphics, anybody that's down there, whether they've been down there, Metzler's been there for 90 years, whether you've been down there for 1 year or 90 years, we've all put ourselves into the business. It's our property, we own it, and we want a better city. And it's very hard to not have people discuss this with you.
I do think that you're being lumped into this anti-group, when in reality, you're just a pro group for yourself, which we all are, right? You have a business you've worked on, you've invested in. You're pro you, as you should be, and you're pro the people and your neighbors, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think we're pro people, the neighbors, and everything else, but I'm not so sure that it's an anti-group, because I get it. I think everybody takes sides, just like we see, Claudia Tenney stand up where she stands up, and we see we see Brett and Jim, and we see the mayor, and we see whatever it is in politics. Everybody's standing. Everybody's got to stand back as far as they can, because they're trying to protect what they have. We have to take that into consideration.
Sure.
So, the anti-group, I don't know. I think that these people really have a heart for what they're doing. They want the best for the city. It's very important to them, and we're asking for our voices to be heard. And I have to, more so than I would have 2 years ago. I absolutely agree with them more, because I have made numerous emails and phone calls, and I can't get anybody to talk to me. So
okay. So Metzler, by the way, you said they've been there for 90 years.
90 years. Yeah.
Imagine the equipment that they have there that will be difficult to. I don't know how you move that equipment.
I've heard. I don't know this, but I've heard there's equipment in there that you could not move unless you actually demoed the building. That's what I've heard. I don't know that, but Yeah, it's a good point. There's a lot of affected businesses down there. Can I one more thing on the people you've reached out to? You've never gotten a response, are you saying? Before you got this offer, there was never any communication or correspondence with the hospital or the city?
I'll tell you what, it was extremely limited. I've sent emails. I asked, can I have a meeting? 2 years ago, one of the spokespeople from the hospital met me, said, yeah, you're right. We should have a meeting. We should get together. I said, that'll be great. Let's do it. End of story. Never reached out. I sent an email, said we're going to do it. Same sort of thing. I've sent emails to, Mr. Paceni. Mr. Badizzi, I've gone to his office a couple of times. But again, the looming idea that it's going down there and it was eminent domain and it's tough. I mean, no discussion, no explanation, no nothing. Just this is what it is. And that's what's been so hard about this whole situation.
March 15th. That's the final day for offers. It'll be interesting to see. Also interesting to see how they're willing to help you. So I wanted to put a face to this. I think it's important, and I appreciate you coming on.